We give hurricanes their own names for good reason. They each have their own style, their own personality. This is a comeback year for the cyclone. Back with a vengeance. Mean Dean is bearing down on the Caribbean. Bearing right down on me.
Tropical storm Dean intensifies. As a matter of fact, Dean has now officially become the first hurricane of the season. And looks like it's going to keep strengthening. Might even make it up to Category 4 strength with winds of 130 miles an hour by Monday night.
Fortunately, I'm already in Florida on another chase. And, even better, the grand old man of storm chasers, Cyclone Jim Leonard, is here. So, we're going after Dean together. During his amazing 40 years as a storm chaser, Jim has hunted down almost every type of catastrophic weather on Earth. From hurricanes, to tornadoes, to typhoons, to waterspouts, Jim has seen it all, up close.
There are 4 choices. There's a Jamaica landfall, possibly, Grand Cayman, Yucatan, and then the final destination somewhere around the Texas Bend area here. Corpus Christi, that kind of thing. If we play our cards right, we could actually get a daytime landfall in Jamaica. If the airport holds out, then connect back through Miami and actually get a double whammy. It is possible.
Yeah, I did that in Allen, but it didn't mess up the airport in Jamaica, so I was able to get out, but it was a real zoo.
Here's the latest. Hurricane Dean has now been upgraded from a Category 2 to Category 3 storm, and I think it'll easily make the Category 4 classification, if not higher. Now, today, it's painful because I've got nothing to do. I'm waiting for the final word from Jim Leonard as to whether we're going to take off and go to Jamaica. So I figure I might as well go out on the boat and just relax a little bit because I'm getting too stressed.
This is the calm before the not-so-proverbial storm.
Actually, that tower does look pretty good, yeah.
And while Jim and I are still collecting data, our friend and fellow chaser, Mike Tice, has already decided his move on Dean.
I decided to go to Lesser Antilles for Hurricane Dean because I've always wanted to chase a hurricane out in the outer islands. And I saw Dean as a perfect opportunity to finally, chase it on the islands out there, so I jumped on it. The most memorable moment of the travel adventure to me was getting to the island and landing at the airport. And it was a total state of panic. People they wanted off the island. Most people in their right mind don't want to live through a hurricane on a small island. I was probably the only person that was coming there for that. But people were panicking. That's usually how a hurricane chase ends up. It's just a lot of chaos. People had to be told straight up, you are going to be riding out this hurricane, and at this point, you need to get in a safe structure because we're not going to be able to fly you off the island. For me, the big story was actually the water. We had a raging flash flood come down the mountain, and it was about 22 feet high is what it's basically like brown water rapids, class 5. Very violent, and I was seeing pieces of houses coming down. The people of the island of Dominica were great. Initially, nobody was outside when the winds were still pretty strong. But then when the winds died down, people were just out almost enjoying it because they knew the threat of real extreme danger was gone. So they were just enjoying the fact that the kids were out playing in the water, and Most people actually are very interested in Mother Nature, and you know, it's not only me or the other people who chase hurricanes, just people in general, I think. They want to see it, and so they were out just taking it in, and the big swells were crashing on the seawall.
I'm now on my way to the storm. Overnight, Dean has actually done very well. He's strengthened up to a Category 4 storm, strong Category 4, with wind speeds of 150 miles an hour. We're gonna pick up Jim Leonard, and then that's it. We're flying to Jamaica, if the airport's still open.
Good, just because you need, so I think however people come to it, that's great.
Well, one step closer. The flight is actually on time.
Yeah.
Keep your fingers crossed. We're gonna make it to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right now, it looks like the storm's gonna hit 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Has a Category 4.
The safest thing for us to do is hang out within a couple miles of the Montego Bay.
Find some good
when
spots.
When it comes back on the backside, because we're not going to get anything on the north side once the center passes us.
But it'll be dark then anyway.
The only place would be the best would be Grand Cayman.
Yeah. But it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late now.
So how do you remember every track of every hurricane that has ever been?
They're burned in my mind.
Etched into your brain, you know?
He's where I went down to Hugo and Gilbert with.
The airport may be busy today, but nobody is going to Jamaica. Well, almost.
Well, the one good thing about flying into a hurricane is that there's lots of seats on the plane. I can sit pretty much anywhere I want. I suspect this plane's going to be a lot more full when it leaves Jamaica heading back for Miami. They're going to be evacuating a lot of tourists. The airport here in Montego Bay is bustling right now, but it's not arrivals, it's departures. Mostly tourists trying to get out of this island before Mean Dean shows up in about 24 hours.
The first thing we have to do is find a hotel with a good, solid structure. It's remarkable how normal everything looks in light of what's coming.
Today, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Jamaica. Tomorrow, all hell's gonna break loose and you won't recognize the place. Enjoy the scenery now, because by the end of the day tomorrow, it's gonna look mighty different.
Yeah, this placid, calm, nice night is going to be complete hell tomorrow. 24 hours from now.
As you look at the hurricane, you can see a well-defined eye, numerous spiral bands around the system, and an extended...
As darkness falls, you get a better sense that something big is going to happen.
Right, from what you're seeing, we have a powerful hurricane coming. From the prediction, we will be hit around about midday, between midday to 3 o'clock, because it's really going pretty fast. We have all the emergency people staying here because we're at the highest level in terms of being safe.
Will Dean turn south or slam head on into us?
This is it. It's 7 a.m. on the big day. The calm before the storm. In about 6 hours, this is going to be the most dangerous place on the planet.
Jamaicans are no strangers to hurricanes. They know exactly what to do. But the unnerving part is not knowing how big it will get. As we head out into the storm, Jim gets news from the National Hurricane Center that Dean has changed course.
Yeah, because before it was going straight west for like several hours.
Well, Hurricane Dean is throwing us a bit of a curveball. Looks like the worst of the storm is going to hit just south of the island. So now we're blasting east out of Montego Bay to try and catch some of the best winds coming off the ocean and onto the island. We've hired a driver. My new best friend Dwight here is taking us over. And he knows the roads, he knows the areas, he knows where we're going to be able to get some food and gas, hopefully later. And we'll see what happens over the next couple of hours. Weather conditions are going to deteriorate throughout the day.
Yeah, we're on the north central coast of Jamaica now, and we're gradually getting into more of the outer feeder bands of the hurricane. We should get steadily increasing winds and rain here in the next few hours. 250 miles out, you get ones with gusts of 35, 40 miles an hour. You get about 150 miles out, you can get gusts of 50 miles an hour. Then if you get within 50 miles of the storm, depending on how strong it is, if it's a Category 4 like we're dealing with, you're going to get gusts probably near 100 miles an hour until you get into the inner core. Then it's called continuous rain, wind, and very, very dangerous part of the storm.
Our biggest concern right now is fuel. There are shortages everywhere.
Closing? No more gas?
Everyone is scrambling for gas and supplies.
This one caught us with our jaws by the knee.
Dean is under 100 miles away. We are expecting that the most intense activity will be over southern coastal areas.
The government here has been giving fairly regular radio broadcasts that we've been listening to, telling everyone to take their safety precautions now, to stay off the roads, watch for landslides.
Okay, I will definitely stay off the road. I thought this stretch of coastline was a great spot to get up close to the waves, which were getting bigger by the second.
Hey Jim, you should come out and play.
But unpredictable storm surges can rise up and sweep you into the sea. 10 seconds later, and I could have been gone. As we move east, the hurricane intensifies, and people are moving to safer shelter or higher ground. As the eye approaches, the winds are clocking in at 80 miles per hour. With a storm this powerful, eventually it's going to shut down your travel plans. A giant storm surge has left our only road option impassable. But this is a great spot to see the storm.
Well, we're into detour mode now. The main road across the north part of the island is completely cut off by debris brought in by the storm surge. And so, oh, the waves are crashing across the road here.
Yeah,
this is gonna be interesting.
There's a seawall here. At least you probably won't have to.
Yeah, uh-oh. Okay, things are gonna get interesting real quick here.
The waves are awesome. The storm surge is just piling them up right here on this break wall. You can actually see where stones have been kicked up onto the road. I don't think it'll be long before this whole track of road is completely underwater.
The only other people on the road are the police.
Like this. The main road is blocked a few miles down. It is? Yeah, there's a lot of debris that came up, logs and rocks blocking the way on the main road, just so you know. Yeah. This is only my second day. Yeah. Oh, it's great. Good to meet you. Enjoy. That's a lot of water. Yeah,
Friendly hospitality in the middle of a national emergency. Only in Jamaica. Hurricane Dean is slamming into Jamaica, and we're right in the middle of it. Monster waves are pounding the coastline. Getting anywhere right now is next to impossible. But that's okay, because everywhere we go, there's more storm. Once again, I almost get swallowed up by a huge storm surge. We're running out of gas now, so we have to try and make it back to Montego Bay. But it's painfully slow due to all the debris on the roads. This hurricane has made a huge mess of everything.
Yeah, it's okay. That's one. Yeah, no.
Well, night's fallen now, and that marks the end of our Hurricane Dean chase. It's too dark to do anything except for go back to the hotel now. Our main concern now that it's dark is driving into downed debris that's in the street. Rocks, parts of homes, especially big tree limbs. Those are the ones you really got to watch out for. It's hard to tell which ones you can scooch around and which ones make the road completely impassable. The worst part of Dean did pass just south of the island, which is good for them, but we still got to see some amazing surf and storm surge and some pretty high winds. So overall, it was a pretty good chase.
Dean passed Jamaica, got up to Category 5, and slammed into the Yucatan Peninsula, tearing up everything in its path.
Right mind would be out in this.
Dean finally wore itself out in Mexico, but not before causing major damage to the area. Getting this close to a major hurricane like Dean would make any storm chaser's season complete. But wait, here comes Noel. I'm heading to Canada's east coast to intercept Hurricane Noel with fellow storm chaser Mark Robinson.
We are on the road again, this time heading for Atlantic Canada, specifically Nova Scotia, because that's where this huge system, which is actually going to be the remnants of Hurricane Noel, is headed. It's a big, nasty storm, and it's going to bring hurricane force winds, and we've heard projections of up to 10-meter waves along parts of Nova Scotia. I've wanted to do a nor'easter for ages, so to catch one in Canada is something I've wanted to do for a long, long time, so I'm very excited by this.
After 22 hours in the car, we make it to Nova Scotia, where the storm is already pounding the coastline.
The idea right now is to try and find out if we can clear a path through these rocks and get the trucks through. And this is a very dangerous place to be standing because these rocks were knocked here by these waves. So more of these rocks could come up at any time.
Flash flooding is making driving a nightmare. But it's totally worth it to see this breathtaking show.
Look at this! Look at that! How big was that wave? Okay, that's the biggest wave I've ever seen.
Even the locals are stunned by the enormous waves that have thrown these huge boulders into the parking lot.
I was trying to get out on these rocks, try and get some good pictures, and, well, big wave came, knocked me down, got me full of salt water, and now my boots are full of freezing cold North Atlantic water. Nasty. These are pretty much the biggest waves I have ever seen. Some of them are crashing and breaking hundreds of feet in the air. It's massive.
Standing in the face of such awesome power is, for me, one of the greatest experiences on Earth.